emblematic of the divide in U.S. society and culture that people call politics, but it's not really, is it? It isn't. Constantly gets frustrated with him that he is not able to like spontaneously invent things, and this is one example where she's like, "So what's your backstory, troll?"
Right.
And he's like, and she's like, "Is it a curse?" And he's like, "Yes, it was." And she's like, "Boring." So she suggests maybe he was a good troll
Yep.
in the past, and he was attracted to the edible arrangements because it was a happy place with a nice owner who wanted to make people happy and feel better with their edible arrangements. But the new owner is a misogynistic hole. And
Yep.
then Fred's like is very interesting to me. Maybe he's just been hanging out in the air vents and he has a taste for human flesh. This seems to me to symbolize exactly the divide that exists in horror right now,
Sure.
which we talked about with D.W. Madoff last time, where there are people who say horror in literature has always meant something more than what it literally is, and
Hmm.
in movies too, since the beginning of movies.
Right.
So there is horror film in literature now that it is about timely topics like trauma and grief, like we talked about with DW, or
Hmm.
about like race or climate change. And then there are plenty of people who say, we don't want any of that woke nonsense in our horror. We just want to be scared. And
Right.
you just notice the title of the movie is Scare Me.
Right.
But those same viewers and readers who say that, I have noticed they are perfectly happy with horror that has like masculine, like Hemingway type themes,
Hmm.
like bravery and fighting the monster, heroism,
Right.
survivalism, man versus nature. They can consume that stuff all day long without even realizing they've experienced a metaphor for
Mm.
anything. But
Yeah.
as soon as it's a so-called female theme or gender theme or race, disability, mental health, whatever, like then they notice that it's too fucking woke. And I don't need to
Why,
point out,
God,
but
why?
I think I will anyway,
Sure.
that this divide in horror, which again came from the divide between these two characters, is emblematic of the divide in U.S. society and culture that people call politics, but it's not really, is it? It isn't. And if you want to, you can put your finger anywhere on this timeline and trace it right back to the time of the civil rights movement in the 20th century, or the Civil War, take your pick, or the transatlantic slave trade, or, colonialism. We're not the same society anymore. And by that, I mean, we're not the same as each other anymore. We are two different societies that are stuck together, just like Fred and Fanny, these two strangers in a storm.